Okay, I want to do a quick review with where we're at so far in the unit. Okay. Then I will get on with today's very short assignment. Okay, solve the inequality, graph your solutions. So we have negative 4x plus 8 less than or equal to 12. So there's only one sign, so I don't need to make the table. Okay, operations on that side, you got it times 4 plus 8. Circle the times. So we have multiplying by a negative. Eventually we will have to divide by that negative, so that's a switch. Now there is a number outside you're going to have to add or subtract to 0, so drop the original sign. Minus 8, minus 8, it's 4. Now you can divide, and that's when the sign changes. Because I'm dividing each side of a less than by a negative, so it goes to greater than. So that would be x, negative 1. So negative 1, it's opening to the variable, so this way. You just abbreviate it. Okay, 25 greater than negative 2x plus 5. X is over here. Remember, the x will be after the symbol. That's okay. Okay, as long as I know my eating this, opening towards each variable that way, opens to x this way. Okay, so you got times and plus. You got a negative, that's a switch, okay? Now you have to get the 5 to a 0, so you drop the original sign when you do that. So now we got 20, and then we have negative 2 times x. Now it's time to divide. So it's negative 10, and that's x. Okay, so we have negative 10. Now that may be less than, but it's opening towards the variable. So that's this way. I don't care. Okay. If you want me to prove it's right, pick a number that way, like 3. Put it there. It would open up towards 3 in comparison with negative 10. Okay. So that's why that needs to happen that way. Okay. Next one. 8x minus 6 less than or equal to 3x plus 14. Okay, you ain't making a wall because there's x's on opposite sides, so let's get the smaller one to 0 because there'd still be a 14 on that side. At least I'd have a value on that side. Okay, so it'll give me 5x minus 6. You don't worry about switching the sign when you're getting your x's simplified, okay, because you're just adding and subtracting. Okay, so I make the wall. What are the operations now with the x? You got times 5 and plus negative 6, so circle your times. This time that's a positive 5, so that's a keeper. Okay, you got to get your negative 6 to 0, so plus 6, it's 25 times x. Divide by 5, x. 20 divided by 5 is 4. It opens towards a number, so it'll go this way. Okay, next one. Negative 3 times the quantity x minus 4 less than 36. Okay, you have to multiply the parentheses. So you're gonna have your number line eventually, but you got to distribute your negative 3. Okay. Make sure you put a plus sign, then circle the plus. So you're timesing negative 3 by 1x, or x, and then negative 3 by negative 4. If you don't put the 1, it's fine. It's still negative 3x, and then 12. Okay. So line up your symbol. You are multiplying, but you're not multiplying on both sides, just one of them. So negative 3x plus 12. Over here you got 36. Now this is the only x that's on this side, the left side, with a times negative 3 and a plus 12. Okay, you have a negative multiplier, so that's a switcherooski. So now I know it switches. I don't have to worry about, am I going to forget? Okay. You have to get the 12 to a 0, so you drop the original sign, because on that part you're just adding, subtracting. That doesn't change the value of the inequality. So that'd be 24, and that'd be negative 3 times x. Then you divide by negative 3. You have x, 24 divided by negative 3 is negative 8. So you have negative 8, you circle, you wouldn't fill it, and it's about to eat, it's opening towards the variable, so that's this way. Okay, next problem. We have 6x plus 2 greater than or equal to 4x minus 16. Okay, you can't make you're not in parentheses, but you got x's on opposite sides. I could get the 4x to a 0 because I'd still have my negative 16 value over there. So that's going to be 2x plus 2 negative 16. Now the wall can come out. Got a times 2 and a plus 2. You have a positive multiplier, so that's a keeper. Okay. You have to get your 2 to a 0, so I go in the middle, make another symbol, so now I'm set up. I'm minus 2, minus 2, so you got 2 times x still. Negative 16 minus 2 is negative 18. Then I solve it times by dividing. So you have x in front and then negative 9 behind. Okay, so x can be negative 9. And since it's opening towards x, x can be any value going this way of negative 9. Okay, now the fun starts. We've got negative 6 less than or equal to 2x plus 4 less than or equal to 24. Okay, I see 2 symbols. Well, that means we need a table. Also means we need to kind of separate what we have here, okay? So I'm going to have that less than, I'm going to have that less than. So I know I have negative 6 there. And I'll have the expression 2x plus 4 over here. I know I have 24 over here, and then the expression 2x plus 4 is in each one. That's a visual for you. Overlaps. Okay, you just solve them separately. So x, you got times 2 plus 4, circle the times, that's a keeper. Okay, so keep the sign the same. You have to get your 4 to a 0 though. So you minus 4. So negative 6 minus 4 would give me negative 10, and then 2 times x. Now you divide by your 2, and you have x behind the symbol. Keep it behind, and then negative 5. Okay, over here, same thing. Times 2 plus 4, keep the sign. You got to get your 4 to a 0 by subtracting it, so that would be 20. And then 2 times x. Then you divide by 2, and you have x by itself with 10 on the other side. So you got negative 5 and 10. So you fill in each circle, because they both have the equals 2 lines. Negative 5, it's eating the x, so this way. Here it's opening towards the values, so this way. So it makes one line, so I put x, negative 5 on one side, 10 on the other. Okay, that's the highest number. X is always bigger. Whatever x is, it's bigger than negative 5, so you open it towards the x. Okay, our next problem. 3x plus 4 greater than or equal to 1, or negative 5x greater than 25. Okay, so it's another table because you have these two, but at least they're already separated for us. 3x plus 4 greater than or equal to 1, and then negative 5x greater than 25. Okay, what do you have between 3 and x is a times. Circle that. Between x and 4 is a plus. Okay, that's a keeper. Because I'll be dividing, but I'll be dividing by positive 3. But I do have the 4 I have to get to a 0 first. minus 4, minus 4. 1 minus 4 is negative 3, then divide by 3, you have x. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. Okay, over here between the 5 and the x would be a times, so circle the times, and that's a switcheroo because it's negative. Okay, do you have a number outside of that, on that side, outside of the multiplication that you'd have to take to 0? No, because you don't have anything added, okay? So you can just go down here, you don't need that middle sign. So just divide by negative 5. So x, that's negative 5. So you have negative 1 and negative 5. Circle, fill it on the negative 1, but not on the negative 5. So it's opening towards the x on negative 1, so that's this way. But it's opening towards the value negative 5 here, so it goes this way. And that's an or, not a very big space, but you put x on each line and just copy the two solutions. So x can be any number that way or that way. Alright, next one. Negative 6 less than or equal to 2x plus 4, which is less than or equal to 20. Okay, that's another compounder. So again, we have to do the separating ourselves. See, with the or, it's nice because they're already separated. I just need to separate them myself here. Well, we know we're going to have negative 6 there, and then the 2x plus 4 on the other side. Over here, we're going to have 20, and then the 2x plus 4 on this side. Okay, wall operations over here, times 2 plus 4. So that's a keeper because the 2 is positive, because I will be dividing by that 2, but not before I get the 4 to a 0. This is for when I divide, but I have a middle part, so I need to get 4 to 0. So it gives me negative 10 over there, and then 2 times x over here. Then I divide by my 2, and I have x behind the symbol, keep it behind, and then negative 5. Okay, that's a keeper. If that was a keeper, that one's going to be because it's the exact same expression. Again, we have, before we divide, we have to get that to a 0. So minus 4, minus 4. So 2 times x is going to be 16. Divide by 2, we have x and 8. Negative 5 and 8. Okay, opens to the x, opens to the 8, so this way, and they combine. So we put x down once with a negative 5 there and an x there. 8's the highest number we have, so it's got to open towards 8. And anything for x is bigger than negative 5, okay? So open toward the x. Okay, last one. 4x plus 5 greater than or equal to 13, or 7x minus 2 less than 12. Yeah, we got a little problem here. Can you please change that, that 12, I want that. No, you're going to put a 12. Make your 7 negative. Trust me on this. No, shoot. Put this problem, negative 7x plus 3 greater than or equal to negative 20, negative 18, sorry about that. Negative 18, okay. That's a negative 18 there, a negative 18. I'll write it so you can see it. No, it still doesn't make any sense, darn it, okay. 4x plus 5 greater than or equal to 13, or, because I know how this is going to come out, I need it to come out better than what it is. X greater than 2. Okay, the idiot finally got it right. Okay. Alright, so it's another table problem. 4x plus 5 greater than or equal to 13, and then negative 7x plus 4 greater than or equal to 25. So number line. Okay, so we have times 4 and plus 5. That's a keeper. You have to get your 5 to a 0 first. So minus 5, you have 4 times x, and then 8. Now divide by your 4, and you have x and 2. Okay, wall, that's a times and a plus. Circle the times, that's a switcheroo. Okay, but before you switch it and divide, you got to get your 4 to a 0. That's what I'll be dropping the original sign there. So minus 4, minus 4. That ends up as 21. Then I divide by negative 7. And I get negative 3. So I have positive 2 and negative 3. So the 2 I fill in, open it towards the x, so that way. This sign is open towards a negative 3, so that would go the other way. So that's or. Okay, so you put x on each line, and less than or equal to negative 3. And just copy it on the 2. Okay, now we're going to look at 3-story problems. A salesperson has a goal of raising $500. They sell necklaces for $5 each and bracelets for $7.50 each. They already have sold 50 necklaces but have run out of them. Write and solve an inequality that gives how many bracelets they need to sell to reach their goal. So there's the word goal. And goal would be greater than or equal to 500. Now, what money amounts are going to help you get to 500? Well, there's two. There's $5 and there's $7.50. Now, I'd have to sell them by multiples if I'm going to meet the goal. So what's the $5 for? It's for the necklaces. What's the $7.50 for? It's for the bracelets. So I write the expression 5 times n plus $7.50 times b. There's the expression. Now I have to solve for the bracelets, so I need to replace the necklaces with 50 because I know there's 50 necklaces. Okay, and then you need to take 5 times 50. 5 times 50 is going to be 250. Now what else do you have? You have plus 7.50 times b greater than or equal to 500. So solve for b. You got a plus and a times. Circle the times. That's a keeper. Of course, we have the 250 on that side that has to be taken to 0 before I divide. So minus 250 minus 250. Okay, then you need to divide. So you have b. Okay, not much of a fan of that. Hit second PRB equals. Now before you write 33 1/3, it says how many bracelets. Can you sell 33 1/3 bracelets? No, it'd have to be 33, okay? Actually 34 to meet your goal, but if you just put 33, I wouldn't be mad, okay? Because 33 would take you short of the goal. But if you put 33, it's not a big deal. So it opens towards a letter, so it'll be this way. B greater than or equal to 34. Okay, my goal in science class is to receive a 93 average for my test. So far I've received grades of 85, 97, and 88. Write and solve an inequality that gives the possible scores I could receive on my next test to meet my goal. Okay, there's the word goal again. The goal is 93. But they're talking average, okay? So I need to write a simplified expression for the average. So average, I see 3 numbers, but I'm going to be taking 4 tests, Okay, so I need 4 things up here. You always need one more because you got 85 plus 97 plus 88. And you're going to take a 4th test, but you don't know what you're going to get on it, so plus x. Now simplify the expression. And you're going to add these, okay? 85 plus 97 plus 88 is 270. And there's the expression simplified. Now it's a little bit different ballgame. You got plus and divide, but the whole thing is divided, okay? So you have to get rid of your divider first. The opposite, if you have to solve and you have division, you're going to times 4, okay? Because when the whole thing is divided by 4, you need to times 4 to get rid of it. You have x plus 270. 93 times 4 is going to be 372. Okay, now wall. Now the only operation you have is a plus. No times, no divide. You don't have to worry about the sign flipping. You just drop the sign and get the 270 to 0 by subtracting. Okay, I think this guy's got a little problem. Hope the teacher is allowing extra credit because he has to get 102% or that goal's not going to get met. Okay, so that does happen. Sometimes it's impossible. Eats the x, so it goes this way. Okay, next one. I have 120 yards of fence to put around a rectangular deer plot. The length of the plot is 25 yards. Write and solve an inequality that can be possible widths of the deer plot. Now the word have means you have to go less than or equal to what you have, 120. Now they're talking rectangles, so you know how the first problem I went up and figured my money. The second one I went up and figured my average. To figure what we have for the rectangle, we need to make a length width rectangle. So what am I going to do with that 120 yards? I put it around the plot. So I'll be putting it around an L, another L, a W, and a W. Now there's 2 L's and 2 W's. Now it's simplified. Okay, well one of those variables I have to find the possible width. So I need to have something I can know a value to put in for the length. And I have it, it's 25. So you have 2 times 25, just that. Okay, don't draw a rainbow because it's just 2 times 25. 2 times 25 is 50. I'll have a lot of people put 50L. No, L's gone. I put 225 in for its history, plus 2W. Okay, so wall, you have plus and times. That's a keeper, okay. Of course, before I divide, I need to get the 50 to a 0 in between. So I subtract 50. 72 times W. Divide by 2. We have W, 35. Circle fillet opens to the number, so that would go this way. Okay, I went over quite a bit of stuff. You understood what I did, you're in good shape. Now I'm going to go to today's very short assignment. Okay? That's why I did so many reviews. This is really simple. Range. Here's how you write range. Example 1. The ideal length of a certain length of a nail is 20 millimeters. The actual length must be within. Within means put plus or minus 0.4 up in the corner. That's what within means. Of the desired size. Write an inequality that describes a range of the acceptable lengths of the nail. First off, a range, you need to make a number line. Okay? You're not going to put 0 in the middle. What am I going to put in the middle? 20. That's what it's supposed to be. Okay? And it just says inequality. There's no S on it, so I just do one number line. Some of these later on have an S after inequalities, so that means I need 2 of them. Okay, but here it's just 1. Now we need one number this side, one number on this side. It's real easy. You write down 20 twice and you just add 0.4 and minus 0.4. So that's 20.4 and 19.6. So the highest you can have is 20.4, the lowest is 19.6. If you have 22, it's not acceptable. Okay, send it back to the shop. You ain't selling it. So it has to be between here and here to be put on the market for sale. And it's just a combined graph. You can use whatever, it says acceptable length, so use L. Don't put 20 up there, okay? No. 20 is used, but to get these. It's the only point it has. 19.6, 20.4. And then that's L's bigger than that, so you need to put L, okay? That's your answer. Example 2. The ideal length of a horse fence is 300 feet. The lengths must be within 5 feet of the ideal amount, so you put plus minus 5. The ideal width is 450 feet. The width must be within 10 feet, so plus minus 10 with it. Write inequalities of the range of both the length and width. Now, the inequalities has an S, so that means there's got to be 2 of them. Now, we're going to talk about the length. First we do 300 here, then in the other number line we're going to do 450. So let's take our 300. That's with the 5. You can tell that by reading it. Its length's supposed to be 300. It's got to be within 5 feet. So plus 5 minus 5. So that's going to be 305 and 295. Plot those numbers on the line on each side of the 300. Circle, fill, that way. Okay, now label it. That's for the length. So L, I'm going to put 295 there, 305 here. Don't put 300 up in the label. Okay, 300 is used to generate that and that. Okay. So that's the highest, and L is always bigger than that, so L. Okay, then 450 plus 450 minus, and then I'm using a 10 for the variation there. So it can go up by 10, 460, minus 10 would be 440. Here, I'll put those here. Okay, combine them. Again, use a variable, don't put 450, okay? A lot of people want to do that, but for some reason, I don't know. That'd be your width, so W, 440, 460. 450 does not belong up here. 450 is part of the range. Okay, so eats that, eats that. Also, take that little sheet and do me a favor, okay? That one sheet we use with all the information, like what it means, the eating rules and all that. Label range somewhere on that sheet, because you will want to have this, okay? So you make your number line, you have the 3 points, and then put a variable, make up a letter, we'll put X. That is how to calculate a range, and then the plus minus up in the corner in a story problem. Because we already know goal, we use that symbol, okay? Have, we use that symbol. Range, not really either of them. That's kind of its own separate procedure. Okay, then I'm going to do example 3 and 4, and we've got one problem to do. If you're still with me in the video, thanks for being a trooper. A manufacturer is curing metal into rectangles that are 20 inches long and 35.25 inch wide. That's what 0.25 means. Each metal's length and width must be within 0.25 inches of the desired size. Write inequalities, so there needs to be 2 of them. And also those within amounts I need to put, the only within amount I have is 0.25. Now if you're wondering, why is there only one? We got two number lines. We're going to use that for both of them then. Write inequalities that describe the acceptable range of the length and width. So we have 20 for the length, and it's supposed to be 35.25 for the width. Now we're going to use 20.25 in each one then for the variation. So 20 plus, 20 minus. 35.25 plus, 35.25 minus, and we're going to use that. If that's the only within variation they gave me, that's what I'm using. So it's going to be 20.25, and that's going to be 19.75. Okay, so that's going to be 35, and that's going to be 35.5, and that's going to be, or 50, and that's going to be 35 even. Kind of jumping around here. I think you get the idea though. Okay, so that's going to be my length. When it says long, use length. So 19.75 and 20.25. Well, this is always bigger than L, but L is always bigger than this. Okay. 35.5 and then 35. Okay, and then W, 35, and then 35.5. So there and there. These are the answers to the problem, these whole things, okay? That's what I want to see. Okay, last example. The ideal circumference of a women's basketball is 28.75 inches. The actual circumference may vary from the ideal amount by at most 0.25. Vary means within. It's the same meaning, okay? Write an inequality. There's no S on it, so I only need one that describes the range of the circumference of the basketball. So range. So you need a number line and then three numbers like that. A range goes from the maximum to the minimum to the maximum. Okay, the range is it's supposed to be 28.75. Now I got to find these. So I go for my 28.75 and I add and I subtract the variation. So add that, you get 29 even, and then subtract that, you get 28.5. So 29 is the maximum, 28.5 is the minimum. Like that, okay? Now let's pick a variable. It says circumference, so C. If you use a different variable, I'm not going to be mad at you. So 28.5. 29. Do not put the 28.75 in the label, okay? The only point that has is to generate the maximum and the minimum, but I need it so I know what to add and subtract. So 29 is always bigger than C, whatever the circumference is. That's the greatest circumference. Everything's better than him, okay? So there you go.